Mayuresh, thanks very much. Any thoughts, by the way, on what we were talking about earlier, what Nimesh and Anuj were talking about, L&T Finance? I don't know if you heard some of the commentary, but if you have any thoughts?
Afternoon, Prashant. No, I think promoter buying back into a stock in a significant manner, I think it's a very, very positive set of news for the stock itself. But what has really transpired over the last few quarters, specifically in the post-COVID world, has largely been how asset quality pressures were deteriorating and how they have bounced back very, very smartly. So if you look at the GNPA and net NPA trajectory, you're probably expected to see a huge improvement happening thereof. And therefore, I think the kind of expectation that one probably builds in over the next few quarters, I think that can probably have a huge multiplier effect. Secondly, I think in terms of the overall loan mix or advances mix itself, I think that mix itself is showing significant signs of improvement. And within that pack itself, I think as the rural or semi-urban areas are picking up slowly and steadily, and with the kind of capital adequacy that they probably carry on their balance sheet, that provides them strength. So I think all these factors are probably creating a huge amount of momentum for the stock itself.
Mayuresh, good afternoon. What about a stock like UPL? It's been one of the top gainers this month. In fact, it's the top Nifty gainer this month, up about 20%.
Absolutely, Anuj. So I think if you probably look at how the dynamics for UPL are also playing out, you're probably expected to see or assume that their international operations, specifically in the aftermath of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, I think that should play out a little bit more favorably for agrochemical companies. Because UPL has a wider presence globally, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and as more and more exports out of Russia and Ukraine, specifically on fertilizers or agrochemicals, start getting hit significantly as this war is getting prolonged, you're probably going to see more exports expected to come through from UPL. The second element, obviously, Anuj, is the synergies on their balance sheet. As they pointed out a few quarters ago, revenue and cost synergies both are playing wonderfully well on their balance sheet. And though I think the vagaries of weather forecasts are unknown from a balance sheet perspective, I think the diversification and expectations of this holding out probably is something which is playing out in favor of UPL.
Mayuresh, any thoughts on Zee? I mean, there has been a burst of excitement today after the disappointment yesterday. I mean, all kinds of speculation around what the full detailed court order could have, not have. But I mean, it's too much of a leap of faith. The big one, of course, is whether the EGM will happen or not. The Invesco asking for management change. And of course, I mean, the bigger one is the deal with Sony itself. At this stage, I don't think we have any more clarity than we had yesterday. Any thoughts?
No, so you're absolutely right. I think there are a lot of moving parts in what can be expected. And I think the more sensible option, in my opinion, would be to actually wait out and understand how these news implications are going to play out and what actually comes out of these entire developments that are expected to take place. So let's wait and watch on what actually gets through in factual terms and then probably take a call. But I think all these broadcasters are on fire. So advertising revenues expected to perk higher, subscription revenues holding up. I was looking at the numbers of TV18 broadcast as well. I think the numbers were phenomenal in the past quarter. Revenue growth in the quarter, highest that's seen in the past few quarters. EBITDA margins expanded quite significantly. And the kind of market share gains, both in terms of subscriber additions, I think that is what is probably keeping these stocks higher. So for Zee, let's wait for the factual stuff. But I think a lot of these stocks, including something like a TV18 broadcast, have done phenomenally well as far as the numbers delivery is concerned.
Okay, Mayuresh.